Welcome to Backyard Cigars. Today we are going to find out about the forgotten cigar. This cigar, wrapped in its original cellophane, was given to me last August by a friend. And the story goes, he says, Jose, I got this cigar as a gift about 7 years ago. And I kept it in its cellophane inside a large tube, tubado. And I kept it in my living room there with one or two other cigars that were given to me. He doesn't smoke cigars, although he has tried them. And he said to me, it's been in my living room for the last 7 years. I believe a relative visited Florida and picked this up. This is a Point Break Key West Vintage Especial. It's a 5x50 Robusto. It has a Mexican San Andres wrapper, a Nicaraguan binder, and Dominican Criollo 98 as the filler. So obviously my next question was, did you know you had to keep it in some kind of humidification? He said, no, I did not. I had no idea that it needed to be humidified. I kept it in the tube, and that's where it was, and I'm giving it to you now. So what did I do with it? Well, the first thing I did was feel it out, see how it felt. Felt pretty dry, but it didn't seem like it couldn't be saved. Now, the other cigar that he gave me, the minute it wasn't in a tubo, and the minute I tried anything at all, it just fell apart in my hands. But this one I felt had an outside chance. So for the last year, this is how I kept it. 6 months in a zip bag at 70 RH. 6 months in a zip bag, Movida zip bag, at 67 to 68 RH. And then it was actually an additional month, I believe, may have been spent in an acrylic jar at about 67, 68 RH as well. So, what do we have? This is a small company in Florida that rolls some cigars on site, but has many of their cigars made in the Dominican Republic and then shipped back to their store. I called the store, and a young lady picked up, and I started to tell her about the cigar. And she says, well, I've been working for the company for the last 10, 15 years. So I know this cigar. I know it. And she started to tell me everything that went into it. Because I said, look, I looked on your website, but it doesn't really explain much, and I really want to be sure when I do this review on this cigar that it is actually what I'm saying it is. She said, yes, we still sell that cigar. It retails for about $10. And here we go. Okay. It's the first time this cigar has seen or been exposed to air in nearly 8 years. Or longer than that, for that matter. Now look, let's be real here. My expectations are not high. They're not. See that yet? This cellophane has yellowed. It's an amber color, actually. I can already see a part of the leaf there that has lifted up. We're gonna stay hopeful here. We're gonna stay hopeful. Okay, so I went ahead and just gave it a little bit of cigar glue because, well, it needed it. It needed that help. And it may still not make a difference. Once I heat this baby up, we're going to find out if it can even managed to withstand the heat and burn properly and give me smoking pleasure. Right? Well toasted, easy to toast. This doesn't even look like a Mexican San Andres wrapper anymore. It just looks like, well, something else. Some slight bitterness in the finish from that initial puff, and more or less a musty tobacco taste. So, give or take, this cigar is about, well, 8 or 9 years old. And I'm just surprised, extremely surprised, that it's smoking well at the moment. Getting a little sweetness, a little bit of sweetness coming off of the cigar right now, the slightly bitter finish, and that musty tobacco. The aroma's good, the draw is good. Come back and see. Now, I'm not going to try to paint a rosy picture here. We've got issues going on. We've got some leaf that, despite the cigar glue, is just managed to lift itself up. We've got some of the wrapper just kind of tearing away. After every puff I take, it just kind of disintegrates just a little more. But it's burning. Sometimes you forget a cigar. Forget you even own it. And then, in the case of a person who might not be into cigars, might just not have the knowledge of what to do with a cigar when you get it as a gift, you may think to yourself, it's fine in the tube. There is moisture in that tube. There's no doubt about that. That is probably the only reason that I was able to somewhat rescue this cigar, because it was in that tube. Some leather, some sweetness, some pepper. This is definitely shaping up to be much better than what I anticipated. Now, one of the first things that I was concerned about with the cigar when I got it was beetles. So I did check it out, inspect it. There were no holes, and I didn't even have to open the cellophane. I just kind of looked through, and I said, After all the cigar has been through, I don't think that I can even freeze this cigar. I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can stress the cigar any further. I'm going to isolate it, and it was alone for about 6.5 months. And then it joined the general population, and I felt confident that it wasn't going to hatch any beetles. Of course, I still had it in the back of my mind, like, it can happen. It's just a matter of making sure this cigar doesn't go over a certain humidity level combined with that temperature. Has it been smokable? Yes. Has it been pleasurable? No. And the reason it hasn't been pleasurable is because you get a sense that it's not just that the flavors are a bit off, right? Because the same thing sort of happens when you age a cigar, where certain flavors become a little more, just get more subtle, right? But this is different. This wasn't kept under the proper conditions. This wasn't even considered. It was an ornament, basically, in a tube. And despite that, the cigar I've been able to smoke it. Now, mind you, it's been a year of rehabilitation for this cigar. But despite the rehabilitation, I wasn't able to bring this wrapper back to its old glory. I never had a chance to do that. That was never the goal. The goal was to just make it smokable, just enough to get some flavors off of it and have fun with it, because that's what we should do with cigars. We should have fun with it. Very much like some cigar reviewers will have their in aromatics, where they had their humidity experiments, smoking a cigar at 62, 65, 70 RH, things like that, just to have fun with the hobby. A lot of pepper right now, with a bitter finish. And sometimes I feel like there's a sweet note coming, but then it's like, hi, bye, and it's gone, and it's not to be seen again. And while I got it a little bit at the beginning of the cigar, I'm not getting it at all now. Now I'm getting more of that leathery, bitter finish with pepper, huge doses of pepper. And it's not well balanced either, so it's not like you get to enjoy the pepper with the leather or anything like that. I want to thank my friend, whose name is also Jose, for gifting this to me, because it was fun to do this experiment, even if I had to wait a whole year to get to this point. And I don't fault him at all, because he's not a cigar smoker, and no one informed him that that's what he needed to do. So since he's known me, he's asked me a lot of questions and has shown some considerable interest in smoking cigars. But I never, and this is just a rule of thumb with me, I never encourage anyone to smoke anything. But if you make up your mind to smoke something, and you come to me and you say, Jose, I know you know about smoking cigars, and I want to smoke a cigar. Can you guide me or help me out a little? Then I'm more than willing to help out. But despite the questions, all I do is answer. Now, I've got plenty of cigars to share. The day that he says to me, hey, listen, I want to smoke a cigar with you. This is what I think I like. or pick something that you think I might like and let's smoke one, I will gladly do so. Until then, I will just continue to answer his questions. Every now and then I'll get a puff where there are glimpses, I would say, of what the cigar may have tasted like in its heyday. There are moments when I get this slightly sweet, leathery profile with an earthy tobacco, but then it's just ruined by this bitter finish. And it's not a dark chocolate bitter finish, it's just bitter. Almost like a burnt wood with a bitter finish. That's what I'll get. But hey, it was very interesting to do this, and I thank you all for watching. I think I'm gonna lay this baby down now. I think that this is all it's got to offer me in terms of any kind of smokability, and I don't want to push it any further because I feel it starting to heat up in my fingers, and that's not a good thing. I will give you a closer look at the band. This is the Point Break Key West Vintage Especial, and this was once a Mexican San Andres wrapper. It still is. It's just a different color. And I really thank you all for watching this. Till next time on Backyard Cigars.